So in this trail review, we're going to hit Flat Nasty ATV Park in Jadwin, Missouri. But before I roll the intro, if you've been here, leave a comment down below. I want to hear what other people have to say about this place, because I definitely have some things to say coming up. Welcome to Flat Nasty ATV Offroad Park. So bear with me one second. I'm going to go ahead and get this pulled up real quick. And while I do that, my name is Chris. If you haven't been to this channel before, thanks a lot for checking it out. It's really all about helping you explore the unpaved with trail information, gear reviews, and just other ATV related fun and entertainment. So if that's something that you're into, think about hitting that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on videos like this. Alright, so we're gonna, oh, that's the wrong one. There we go. So we will get it pulled up here. Boom. Okay, so what we're looking at here is actually the trail entrance. You'll come down a gravel road, and this is where you'll end up. So I want to just throw some footage in there so you can see the actual parking area, get a familiarization with the trailhead, just to kind of show you where you're going to park in the overall area before hitting the trail. Now, in a second here, so as we're going to zoom around towards the building, you're going to get a really quick glimpse of the Porta-John. And there it is right there. That's really the only bathroom on the trailhead, so something to keep in mind. Alright, and then here I am. I'm going to go up and pay. It's $20 per person. Now, I know you'd probably think it's per vehicle, but it's actually per person. So if you're riding a side-by-side, it's $40, which I think is a little unreasonable personally, but I understand they have to make a profit, so it is what it is. And then the disclaimer form as well, you got to fill that out. So, alright, we've paid, we filled out the disclaimer form, and now we're going to hit the trail. And as we hit the trail, we're going to go down a steep hill, and I still have not been able to figure out, using cameras, how to properly portray how steep a hill is. Now, this was a pretty steep and rocky hill, and not dangerously steep, or not anything to where you need to be overly concerned, but it is still steep, and you'll see some more coming up that are even steeper yet. So really what I'm trying to say is just keep in mind as you watch this video, what you're seeing is actually steeper than it appears in this video, and that leads me to something we're going to see coming up. Keep on watching, because eventually you're going to see a really steep hill in a way that it didn't go quite so well for me. Alright, so as we head deep into the park here, let's cover some of the basics, right? So as I mentioned, it's $20 per person. Again, that's per person, not per machine. As far as what can ride here, it's basically anything. I mean, ATVs, side-by-sides, rock crawlers, Jeeps, there's trails for everybody here. The only thing that I'm not quite sure of is dirt bikes. So I meant to do a little more investigating on that. I think you can, but call and ask them before you just show up with your dirt bike. Otherwise, there's some campgrounds on site. So speaking of the campground, there's actually camping and a couple of cabins on the actual property here. You can either pay for a space to put your RV, as you can see there's plenty of room here. Otherwise, there's also a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, log-sided house on the property, which actually has a queen bed in each bedroom and a large sofa in the living area. It's also fully equipped with a kitchen, stove, fridge, microwave, all that kind of jazz, to include a laundry room. So if you want to spend a couple days here and you want to be able to wash your clothes from hitting these trails, that's pretty awesome. Laundry room right there in the actual log cabin. And then there's another one, which is a 3-bedroom, 2 full baths, still with a fully equipped kitchen and laundry room. Linens, towels provided, all that kind of stuff. That one's actually called the Bunk House because the large bedroom has 4 queen beds. 2 are log bunk beds, and then a full bath, and then the other 2 are upstairs. One has a twin and a full in it, and the other one has 2 full beds. So again, you can fit a ton of people in that one. Full laundry room, all that kind of stuff. Current rate at the time of this video is $125 a night for up to 5 people, and then there are some additional charges after that. As you can see here, we're really getting into the woods. As far as space, don't quote me exactly, but it's somewhere around 850 acres that this ATV park has, so plenty of space. I reached out to them and asked if they knew how many miles were here. Unfortunately, they don't, but I mean, it's got to be plenty. One trail alone I know is like well over 5 miles, and there are it's trail after trail after trail. So you can definitely hit these trails for hours and hours and not hit the same trail twice. And with all those trails, there's tons of different technical areas, many options for really all sorts of different levels of experience. Anywhere from new-ish more like intermediate rider up to expert. If you are new to riding, I honestly wouldn't come to this trail. Get a few good rides in first, learn your machine, learn how it feels to ride and move and all that, and then come to this trail after you've gained a little bit of experience. It's really not meant for novice riders, but I will say there are a lot of options. So if you've been riding for a little bit, you're starting to feel comfortable, then you could consider checking this one out. And if you've been riding for years and you feel like you just really know trails and your machine and how to ride, this is still a great trail for you because there are some extremely technical areas. So because of the different options, we gave this trail a 3.5 instead of a 5 out of 5. I do believe we could have given it a 5 out of 5. However, you don't have to hit all those harder technical areas. So that's how we were able to justify bringing it down to a 3.5, because you could just skip some of the harder, more technical areas. Now, speaking of making it harder, however, the day we showed up, the weather here was terrible. As you can see, I was literally able to skate on the road, but I was determined to check out this trail. We were heading out of Missouri soon, and I just really wanted to get in one last trail ride. But the weather definitely did make this a more dangerous trail on top of everything else. I mean, the rocks were icy, the trails were icy. It might have something to do with the mistake I made that we're gonna see coming up here in just a few minutes. Now, as we head down this way, you can tell that this is a great area where it was fun to use the quad, because I was actually able to pick up some good speed and, you know, use the quad in a way that really made it a lot of fun in the woods here. Now, obviously do everything within the legal limits, be safe, don't pick up speed to the point where you're gonna hurt somebody, right? And then, again, you have other things to worry about. If you tell when we weave in and out here, the trails they kind of come out of nowhere at you, sometimes these big rocks. So I think if you wait for it here, that's not it. Okay, right there. Can you imagine hitting that rock at 35 miles an hour? Oof. So you definitely got to be safe, but again, just great options, right? This was a great area to ride for the quad, whereas other areas weren't. Okay, so we continued on the trail, and as you can see here, this is a perfect example of trails just spawn off all over the place. I mean, there's I can count like 4 or 5 different ways you can take just off of this one image. And as you can tell, I'm horsing around. There's rocks, and all these rocks we're looking at, you can go below those. You can try and rock climb them if you want. I mean, again, this is a great example of an area where there's plenty of obstacles and technical areas you can mess around with. This is just one side. If you were to pan over, you would see even more of this. So again, lots of different technical areas, lots of fun to be had, and lots of different trail options to take. I mean, you could just go all over. So as you see, I'm gonna head down this trail here, and again, more rocks, more hills. It was a great time. In fact, this is where the quad, I had a lot of fun on the quad here, but any vehicle, any ATV or any machine you have would just be a lot of fun in a different way, because if I would have had my scrambler or a side-by-side, there were different trails I would have been able to take. As you can see, the quad here, for example, it was having a little bit of a, you know, there was definitely some spots that, you know, it got a little sketchier on the quad, and again, that's not even that bad, but you know, you can see I'm almost rubbing the rocks there. I ended up skipping a lot of trails just because I knew for a fact that the quad was not the right machine to have on them. But in other ways, the quad was a great vehicle to have because of the way I was able to utilize it on some of the other trails. So don't feel shy, or don't feel like you need to bring a specific type of vehicle. If you get the opportunity to go here more than once, mix it up, bring some different vehicles. You'll be able to hit different trails and just, again, have a great time. It's an amazing area. So if you're able to check this trail out, it is one that I highly recommend. You know, honestly, I often, like, ATV parks are fun, but a lot of them, you spend a couple hours and you're like, okay, I'm kind of done here. You go there once and, you know, it is what it is. But this one is big enough and has enough going on to where you could easily not only spend one day here without hitting the same area twice, but spend a whole weekend here and just have a blast. I mean, this is definitely the type of ATV park you can come back to over and over again. So, like I said, check it out. It's a great trail. All right, so as you see here, again, it's hard to properly portray this using a camera. I just haven't quite figured out yet, but this is extremely steep, and I kind of approached it from the wrong angle. As you can see, I'm trying to scoot around the other side of those rocks because I knew for a fact there was no way I was gonna be able to make it over those rocks. And there it went, just like that. And just gravity took over. I fell over forwards. It is what it is. Thankfully, I didn't get hurt. It definitely caught me off guard. I was really hoping I'd be able to skate by, but I just couldn't. But I was able to get back up. This Honda, I tell you what, this Honda just keeps going. I got back on it. I started riding. Nothing was wrong with it. I mean, not even the plastics were so much as cracked. I was shocked, to be honest, because it rolled 3 times, and like I said, that was a steep hill. It landed wheels up. It started right away. I got back on the trail. You know, pretty lucky considering. I mean, it definitely could have gone worse, but lesson learned. You know, every time you make a mistake or you do something, it's always a good learning experience. But I almost think that this says something about the trail, right? Because I ended up rolling my 4-wheeler. Again, thankfully I didn't get hurt, but I still am able to say that this is one of the funnest ATV parks I've ever been to. It was just a blast, guys. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video if it was helpful. Subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below and let me know what you thought of this trail if you've been on it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the trail.